Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's July 5th, 2016. Big news story today is that there'll be no charges for Hillary Clinton in the ongoing Benghazi related email scandal. For more than a year, I've been explaining to people that this is a mainstream narrative that is meant to provoke people, it's meant to divide them, it's meant to make them fight over nonsense. And all this time, I've been explaining that Hillary Clinton is going to be the next president. In the United States, elections are not determined by votes, they are rigged, they are planned decades in advance. We, the people of this nation, are living out an agenda of deceit that is full of lies, such as presidential elections, which are about setting cultural narratives and duping people into believing a system that is a mockery of them. So in this video, I'm going to show why it is today that Hillary's charges, or it's being announced that there will be no charges, on July 5th, 2016, following the nation's birthday. It has everything to do with her birthday, voting day, and inauguration day. If you're new to my channel, I have several videos from the last year showing the scripting of Hillary's presidential run. This is the latest in those videos. This must be number 15 or so. So, if you're new to my channel, I talk about gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words, which is mostly a Jewish practice. It's the Jewish people who control media and who operate from the top, rigging our elections. This world is run by banker tyrants. They are mostly Masonic Jewish entities. Check out this headline right here. This is what you need to know in gematria. When the media emphasizes a phrase, you see how they put that emphasis on extremely careless. You know, Hillary gets no charges, but she was extremely careless. This is a story that's like a soap opera that's just meant to piss off people. And that's exactly what it's already doing. That's what it's been doing all this time. But anyway, when they emphasize a phrase, there's always relevant gematria there. Extremely careless happens to some 274, like Masonic, like Jewish. This news comes the day after Independence Day. Independence Day, as we celebrate it, it's July 4th. John Adams, once upon a time, thought it would be July 2nd. Other people think other days are more appropriate, but we've chosen 7-4, and it's because of who runs this nation. Independence Day equals 74, holiday equals 74, this nation created by Freemasons, Jewish bankers. It's always been run by the same gang ever since. So 74, very important number. Another very important number to the Freemasons is 33. And today it's the FBI that makes this announcement, a gang that has always been operating by the 33 code since the beginning. I've done a video on J. Edgar Hoover, his death, information you can go back and revisit. The Federal Bureau of Investigation was first established July 26, 1908. That's also the date in history that New York City was established, July 26th, or New York State, excuse me. Special number, it connects to Revelation, the book of prophecy, but for right now, I just want you to see that this date has 33 numerology. 33. Special number. In gematria, federal equals 33, police equals 33, the FBI, the Federal Police Force. The name Clinton also sums to 33. The Clinton political dynasty traces back to the beginning of this country, New York City. New York City, the first governor, George Clinton. Done a lot of work on the Clintons and New York City. Bill and Hillary are just the latest iteration of the ongoing Clinton political dynasty in this country. The fourth vice president was George Clinton. He was vice president to Madison. Think about Madison Square Garden in New York. But the Clinton name connects to New York. The number 137, it's the 33rd prime number. Authority equals 137. Washington, D.C. equals 137. The federal government headquartered in Washington, D.C., 137, the 33rd prime. In history, Bill Clinton's biological father, William Jefferson Blythe, he died on a business trip coming back from Chicago to Hope, Arkansas, where he lived. The day he died on was May 17th, 1946, the 137th day of the year. It was also a date with 33 numerology. We'll talk more about that. But these numbers, very important to authority, very important to the Clinton family history. Everything in this nation has been done by the numbers from the beginning, using the language I'm showing you, the calendar. This is how our entire history is. When the FBI was established July 26, 1908, they were just called the Bureau of Investigation. They changed their name to Federal Bureau of Investigation on March 22nd, 1935, time of J. Edgar Hoover. March 22nd is most commonly written 22/3 in most parts of the world the day before the month. 223 is like the word Masonic. In Revelation, the book of prophecy, again, the FBI originally established on July 26th. Revelation, the book of prophecy, equals 726 in English gematria. Notice that 7 plus 26 is also 33, like federal, like police, like the full date numerology. But all of these numbers, coming back to Freemasonry, Freemasonry has been running the show in this world for a long time, editing religion, editing science, establishing nations. Freemasons pride themselves on being the invisible architects of society. They have been with this world for centuries. They operate internationally. This is a real gang in high places. In Revelation, it says the false Jews, the Zionist Jews as we call them now, will be called the synagogue of Satan, and they will rule. The synagogue of Satan has the same gematria as Masonic, major parallels between Freemasonry and Judaism. This number is stamped all over our nation's history. So many examples. The book that I'm finishing now, littered with examples of history, and 223, a Freemason signature. Today, July 5th, it can be written 5/7 or 7/5. Scottish Rite equals 57. I must have been tired when I wrote that. Scottish Rite equals 57. I don't know why I wrote it that way. New World Order equals 75. Check this out. This reminds me of a post I did on May 7th, 2015 about Hillary Clinton and her future presidency. We'll get to it. But right now what I'm going to transition into is why today, July 5th, for Hillary, the headlines of no charges. She's off the hook. A very predictable outcome, you know. Her birthday is October 26th, 1947. If you watched the very first video I made on this channel, I said there's 4 numbers you want to know. 26, 33, 47, 74. October is the only month with a gematria of 33. 26 is the God number. Our alphabet is 26 letters. Special number in the Hebrew alphabet, the word God equals 26. In the English alphabet, the word God equals 26. Special number in this study of gematria. It is the reason the English alphabet is 26 letters. So 33, 26, born in the year 47. The word authority, the small way is 47. President, the small way is 47. Obeys, 47. Judge, 47. Gavel, 47. Jury, the reflection is 74. But special numbers here for Hillary. Her birth numerology also sums to 102. And I talk about this number an awful lot in U.S. history. 102, very special to the United States of America. Hillary Clinton officially began her presidential campaign April 12th, 2015, the 102nd day of the year. That's the anniversary date of the beginning of the Civil War. Lincoln was dead on a date with 102 numerology at the end of the war. Slavery equals 102. United States of America equals 102. Fuck you equals 102. And every time I bring that up, I say the same thing. I don't think that's any coincidence, because to me, from a young age, this country has always seemed like fuck you. I wish it weren't so. Al-Qaeda in Jewish gematria equals 102. They said the September 11th attack lasted 102 minutes. You remember what I just said about fuck you? That's what all of this stuff is. Propaganda, scripted history, false narratives, all by the numbers. FBI in English gematria also sums to 102. Today, the FBI letting Hillary off the hook, who began her campaign on the 102nd day of the year. Just want you to notice this. Federal Bureau of Investigation in Pythagorean gematria, 133, just like government and White House equal 133 in simple English gematria. From today until Hillary's birthday is 113 days. 113, a very special number to Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Scottish Rite sums to 57 in Pythagorean gematria, a lot like today's date, July 5th, written 5/7. In simple English gematria, Scottish sums to 113, just like mainstream, just like dishonest, just like perjury. This number coded all over propaganda again and again. Here, Hillary gets a big piece of propaganda in her favor 113 days before her birthday. In the Jewish Talmud, Baba Kama 113a says Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile, which is a non-Jew. If you missed the video I put out earlier today, I show how Google Doodles tribute. Why don't we just bring it up right now? I'm sure it's still there. In case you haven't seen this, watch this. G-O-Y. 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 What does G-O-Y mean? That is a derogatory term for somebody who is not Jewish. This is from yesterday's news story of a probe landing or getting in Jupiter's orbit on the 4th of July, 4/7, plus yesterday, July 4th, 2016. It was the first time since 1917 that the date had 47 numerology on the 4th of July. And Google puts up this tribute yesterday that they still have going, spelling the word goy. What does goy equal? G, the 7th letter, O, the 15th, Y, the 25th, 47. Goy, 47, 4th of July, monumental mocking, a reminder of who runs this nation by the numbers. You know, it's okay to lie to somebody who's not Jewish, a goy. And that's exactly what all this propaganda is, from Hillary Clinton to launches by the numbers, landing in Jupiter's orbit on the 4th of July. It's in our face, the mockery. Bava Kama is known as the first gate of the Talmud. Show you something interesting about the word gate, 113. And think about what a gate represents. A wall, something to block you, an obstacle. And that's what these Masons and Zionist Jews do running the show. Give us all these stories, all this propaganda that's meant to confuse us, work us up, play with our emotions. When they do this, it makes it that much easier for them to rule over us, manipulate us, steer us on the wrong paths. Next thing you know, you're supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton work for this same gang. Don't get confused by these mainstream narratives, which we'll touch on at the end of this video. Gate in simple English gematria also sums to 33, just like the name Clinton, just like federal, where we began, the number of Freemason obsession coded into the FBI, and so much more. Did I point out that Washington, D.C. is located on the American Meridian? Authority, Washington, D.C., American Meridian, also all sum to 137, the 33rd prime number. From today, the date of the news, until Election Day, November 8th, is a span of 126 days, or 126 days later. This stands out to me because 126 has been getting coded in a big way in news stories right now. The other day there was this bombing in Baghdad. They said 126 dead. On June 12th, 12/6, there was the Orlando shooting. It followed the Super Bowl by exactly 126 days. That was Super Bowl 50. At first they reported 50 dead. Then they dropped it to 49. Super Bowl 50 was hosted by the 49ers. And the reason that's relevant is because I predicted the Super Bowl in October because of the white horse symbolism. I said that the symbolism meant tragedies to come that would be connected. Orlando had the Invictus Games, which is based on the poem of Invicta, the white unconquerable horse, connected to the UK, their history. The Invictus Games All of the coding in that was in the Orlando shooting. And the number 126 showed up in a big way. June 12th shooting, it came 126 days after the Super Bowl. It was blamed on ISIS, just like this Baghdad bombing of 126 people. It was also December 6th, the date that can be written 12/6, where Obama gave his speech about Al-Qaeda and terrorism. I documented that speech, what was stand out about it, the date. I talked about 126. That was also a date 12/6/15. 12 plus 6 plus 15, 33. You know, these numbers, they intertwine, they're interrelated. The word blood in Jewish gematria sums to 126. Think about the people ruling over us, the bloodlines. Also think about all the tragedies in the reporting of death, destruction, blood, chaos. It overlaps. From today until Inauguration Day is also 199 days. 199 is the 46th prime number. Hillary Clinton is from Chicago, the biggest Zionist Masonic Mecca next to New York. Hillary connected to Chicago and New York. Bill Clinton's biological father dead on the day coming back from Chicago. Bill Clinton, not born Bill Clinton, born Bill Blythe. Anyhow, Chicago connects to 46, as does Sacrifice. We have Donald Trump as the opponent, running as controlled opposition, part of the Queen Hillary narrative, giving us this unlikable character, this hypocrite, this bigot, this silver spoon in the mouth, comb over goofball, a guy who says that he would pick his military advisors based on his favorite TV shows, a guy who makes derogatory comments about everybody but then keeps getting propped up by the media as a presidential hopeful. It's just such a joke. The Apprentice game show contestant, it's such a mockery. The goy, don't forget how they think of us. And for everyone in our society that goes along with this and is fooled by this, they validate the hatred of us by our Jewish Masonic masters. Something that needs to end. Remember the Trump tombstone with just the year on it, 46? We'll see if Donald Trump makes it to Election Day. He certainly isn't winning. With regards to that 102, the FU number, remember this story? Clinton had a 102-year-old woman caucusing for her. This story came out on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, at the beginning of this year. February 2nd is the 33rd day of the year. Clinton 33. 8:05 post time. Hillary 85. I mean, it's just a mocking of us. And they give a woman's name who's Jewish, Here's another one from May 7th, 2015. I pointed this out at the time when it happened. In the UK, there was an election, the youngest woman elected since 1667. The word female in Jewish gematria sums to 67. International Women's Day is March 8th, the 67th day of the year. So the youngest woman since 1667 gets elected, and her name is Mari Black. I forget how she pronounces her first name. But anyway, the gematria of it is 87, just like Clinton. Clinton, the big way, is 87. With regards to 87 and Hillary and her birthday and the election, check this out. From Hillary's birthday to Inauguration Day is 87 days. Just like Clinton. Clinton equals 87. And remember this span of 2 months and 26 days. We're going to talk about that at the end. 12 weeks and 3 days. The word conspiracy equals 123. All of this is laid out. This is how deep it is. When Hillary announced that she was running for office, April 12th, the 102nd day of the year, until November 8th, voting day, is 576 days. That's what Freemason equals in English gematria. Everything locks up for Hillary in this election. It's so scripted for her, it's ridiculous. We're going to get to September 11th, the Clintons. Just since this is on the screen, Bill Clinton was born William Jefferson Blythe. After his father died, his mother remarried to the Clinton dynasty. His name became William Jefferson Clinton, gematria of 111, just like New York, where the Clintons are originally from. When September 11th happened, it was connected to the 93 World Trade Center bombing, which took place when Bill Clinton first became president. September 11th, the day that leaves 111 days in the year. We're going to come back to that, and we're going to talk about 2/26 and 9/11 and more. But what I want you to see is just how all of this has been lined up by the numbers, how all of these elections are rigged. This shows that what's going on in the UK is no different than what's going on here. I've done a lot of work on Brexit. Brexit equals 33. Whole lot of 33 coding. They said 33 million people voted. This Clinton cartoon movie from years ago, the Simpsons movie. I said Clinton cartoon movie. The Simpsons movie. The word Simpson equals 33, just like Clinton. This movie runs an hour and 27 minutes or 87 minutes, and it talks about Hillary. It hints at her as the president. This is how the clues are dropped over the years. This is from 2007. That will be 9 years before the election, 10 years before she takes office. Here was an article from Time magazine. Hillary Clinton is the perfect age to be president, and it begins at 67. Hillary Clinton is now a woman of a certain age. International Women's Day, again the 67th day of the year, the youngest girl elected last year, May 7th in the UK since 1667. Her name corresponding with Hillary. I think what else we're going to see, probably before Hillary becomes president, is the passing of the Queen in the UK. The Queen dies over there, it becomes King Charles. Over here in the United States, we get a female president, like a balance in a scale almost. Here's Bill Clinton's birth father, William Jefferson Blythe Jr., dead May 17th, 1946, the 137th day of the year, a date with 33 numerology as well as 87. Clinton, 33, 87 in gematria, just like the date numerology. Coming back from Chicago. Also a date with 68 numerology. Hillary's currently 68 years old. Donald Trump, his business career began in 68. His full name, Donald John Trump, equals 68. 68, a rough year for politicians, leaders. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated that year. Bobby Kennedy assassinated by the numbers that year, running for president. The tallest Trump named after Donald Trump, 68 towers. Interesting how Hillary's 68, all this 68 connection right now. 68, the year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. His birthday 68 days before September 11th. What Hillary got off the hook for today was connected to Benghazi, which happened September 11th, 2012, another September 11th tragedy, U.S. government, conspiracy. 11 years after 9/11, which happened mostly in New York, the 11th state, the World Trade Centers look like giant 11s in the New York City skyline. 11, the most important number in numerology. The high military official for that, who ended up resigning, was David Petraeus, which they called David Petraeus. David Petraeus, David Petraeus. Petraeus equals 33, just like Clinton. Whole lot of 33 at the Pentagon. With regards to that date, September 11th, it's written 11/9 in most parts of the world, like Star of David, like All-Seeing Eye. Let me go back to the 93 World Trade Center bombings, which led up to September 11th. If you do not recall the 93 World Trade Center bombings, they were blamed on Middle Eastern terrorists. They said that the terrorists made a mistake and they pointed the bombs downwards instead of upwards. And had they pointed them upwards, they would have took down the towers. But because they pointed them downwards, they made massive craters in the ground. And for months after that, the World Trade Centers were shut down and they did all this rebuilding work. And then years later, they spent billions more and supposedly built an underground bunker which was destroyed on 9/11. But really, I think what happened is it was staged propaganda, and they ended up doing round 2 of prepping those buildings for what was to come on September 11th, 2001. Remember, Bill Clinton had just become the 42nd president just before the 93 World Trade Center bombings in New York. The Clinton dynasty traces back to New York. Look at this. From February 26, 1993, which is the date of the World Trade Center bombing, remember that number I said to remember, 226. From that date until September 11th, 2001, is 3,119 days. The number 3,119 is the 444th prime number. Masonic equals 444 in English gematria. With regards to 3119, the phrase I am, which is important in Kabbalah, which is associated with Judaism and numbers, the phrase I am is very important. I is the 9th letter, A is the 1st letter, M is the 13th letter. I am becomes 9113, the reflection of 3119. The date September 11th, 2001 in numerology, 9 is 9, 11 is the master number you don't have to break down. In numerology, you break down all numbers to a single digit except for 11 and 22. 2001 is 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 equals 3. So the date becomes 9-11-3, like I am, like the reflection of 3119. In Orlando, when they had the Invictus Games just before the Orlando shooting by the numbers, the Invictus Games emphasized the phrase I am, and I pointed this out even before Orlando happened. I said that was the big phrase in 9/11. Donald Trump's been to Orlando recently calling for legitimized torture. There's been all this weird foreshadowing, and sure enough, we get the worst terror attack since 9/11 in Orlando by the numbers. And it's no coincidence that the Invictus I Am Games were there just before it happened. So now, with regards to February 26th, this is what I want you to check out. The number 226 is connected to the Clinton family in New York City, and the Clintons in New York are attached to each other. When you write out New York City, it equals 168. When you write out 226, it equals 168. When you write out NYC, it equals 42. When you write out 226, it equals 42. Bill Clinton was the 42nd president. Clinton, New York City, Freemasonry. When you write out 226, another way to express 226, it sums to 93. There was a 93 World Trade Center bombing on 226, February 26th, 3,119 days before September 11th, 2001, where it said a plane first hit the building, hitting floors 93 through 99, and then the second plane hitting the other building at 9:03 a.m. There was also flight 93 of 33 passengers, 7 crew, 4 terrorists, for a total of 44 people crashing in the Keystone State. Keystone equals 33. 93 is the number for Saturn, the keeper of time. Very important number in Zionism, Kabbalah. My next video is going to be on the death of George Carlin, born in New York, in these exact same numbers. It'll be another mind popper. It'll show you that his death was not natural, but was all part of this Masonic code, which encompasses a lot of things, as we discussed in this video. So what we need to do next is spread this knowledge. I mean, if people are arguing with you that this isn't true, if this is hearsay, conspiracy nonsense, just go back and study my videos on a topic, understand it as well as I do, and explain it to people until they realize they need to be quiet. You know, we need to find the people who get it. We need to gather, we need to unite, and we need to stop this. This has been going on for way too long. It's time for it to end. The proof of the rigging, the duping, it's out in the open for all to see, for all to understand. I'm putting this in layman's terms. I know everybody can get it if they allow themselves to. So thank you for all of you who share the work, who spread the message. You're doing the most important work. Until next time, Truth Seeker.